Dear PepsiCo, today is Earth Day and it's been exactly 1 year since we started the PepsiCo Interceptor challenge. And since then, we have created a lot of videos. To save you time from watching all of them, though we still recommend you do, we decided to compile all the key points from the videos into just one to explain the complexities of the plastic pollution problem. We started with the launch of the PepsiCo Interceptor challenge last Earth Day in 2022. Thanks to research by the Ocean Cleanup, we now know that 80% of the plastic pollution running off into our seas is coming from just 1,000 of the worst polluted rivers. Coasts get most of their plastic pollution from rivers and streams and have a devastating effect on wildlife. To explain this, we made
Sea Chicken, Hidden Plastic's mascot. She comes from Lord Howe Island in Australia, where she was fed, like many of the local chicks, on a partial diet of plastic. Her parents thought that the plastic was food, so they gave it to their hungry chick. The plastic could not leave her stomach, so it took up all of the space until she could no longer eat. Most chicks would starve, but luckily for Sea Chicken, we came to her rescue and performed our life-saving surgery on her to remove the plastic.
Ah, phew, she's asleep. Scalpels at the ready? Let's go. A Pepsi bottle?
Sea Chicken got lucky, but most chicks don't. The best way to avoid these unnecessary fatalities is to stop the plastic.
And if it wasn't already scary enough, the world is set to double the amount of plastic produced annually by 2040. Sea Chicken has agreed to help us visualise what this could mean for our seas. It is the year 2022. Sea Chicken is surrounded by a sea of plastic and can't find her food amongst the waste. Fast forward to 2040. The world didn't take plastic pollution seriously when they had the chance. Now the world's plastic production has doubled and there is so much of it that she's literally drowning in it.
Here's the problem. Many people in extremely poor parts of the world don't have waste disposal, so their only choice is to throw the plastic bottles, wrappers and packets onto the ground, or worse, in waterways. What a mess. But there's a bigger problem. Plastic is what's called photodegradable. It does not decompose. It just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces called micro and nanoplastics. When plastic makes its way into the environment, this breakdown process begins to create a much larger problem that most of us never really see.
Plastics in our oceans break into tiny microplastics from waves and prolonged exposure to UV sunlight. A new study estimates we have 170 trillion microplastic particles in our oceans. It comes from bottles like these.
Sea Chicken goes on holiday and gets very angry seeing so much plastic everywhere. Luckily, she befriends a wise local seabird who explains the problem to her. There isn't a proper waste treatment system because the Philippines isn't as wealthy as her own country. The people living in the poor areas have enough money to buy products in plastic packaging, but there's nowhere for them to put their trash.
We need to target these locations around the world with immediate action. This is a terrible legacy to leave to future generations. So how can PepsiCo help?
The next two videos explain just how little sponsoring 20 the Ocean Cleanup Interceptors would actually cost PepsiCo in comparison to their net profit in 2021. In this visualization, one bean will equal $12 million, which is equal to 15 Ocean Cleanup Interceptors. This is PepsiCo's net profit from 2021. Oops, sorry, this is... In this Pepsi bottle, there are 634 beans to represent the $7.618 billion PepsiCo earned last year in 2021. All this money just went to their shareholders, and all that we're asking for is just one little bean.
In week 10, Sea Chicken had a great idea. She decided to make a Super Bowl ad to raise money for the ocean cleanup interceptors.
However, she realised that it costs $14 million a minute during the Super Bowl halftime. So she decided to make her millions in the beverage industry with her very own lemonade stand. And that way she could even get a picture of herself on the side of an ocean cleanup interceptor as a sponsor.
Our terracotta video in week 12 highlighted how PepsiCo won this prestigious award in 2021 for doing good things for the planet.
We explained how sponsoring interceptors is a perfect way that PepsiCo could help clean up its own legacy plastic and prove your worthiness of this award.
Since the launch of the PepsiCo Green Bond in July of last year, we've hoped that some of these funds could be used to clean up plastic waste in many of the countries where you sell your product.
Especially as you've made a commitment to Sustainable Development Goal 12, which is all about responsible consumption and production.
We were excited to hear that PepsiCo joined the Global Plastics Treaty last September. So, we did a special news report called Breaking News.
News! Justin! We have a report that 2 days ago in New York City, 85 businesses around the plastic value chain, financial institutions and NGOs have formed a business coalition for Global Plastics Treaty. We go to Zara now, who is reporting in the field.
Hello Ashton. It's true that a significant step towards ending plastic pollution is now in our sights. 8 of the top 10 worst plastic polluting companies in the world have joined this coalition to find solutions to end plastic waste. And we're especially excited to see that PepsiCo is one of the signatories to this historic agreement.
Does this coalition address the plastic that is already in the ocean?
Yes, it does. Part 3 of the coalition's goals states that they will aim to, quote, coordinate global efforts to address the damage caused by ongoing and legacy plastic pollution while protecting the most affected and vulnerable communities and ecosystems, end quote. What great news for our ocean!
In this one-year recap of the PepsiCo Interceptor Challenge, we want to stress that the ultimate goal is for you, PepsiCo, to take responsibility for cleaning up your own legacy plastic, which has been flowing into the seas for decades. There are an estimated 153 truckloads equivalent of PepsiCo's plastic entering the oceans every single day.
We believe this plastic pollution problem needs immediate action and cannot wait for another 2 years of negotiations for the world to begin rolling up its sleeves. By next Earth Day 2024, there will be another estimated 182,000 tonnes of PepsiCo's plastic needlessly flowing into the ocean, if you choose to ignore this issue. But plastic pollution can be solved. Hang on a minute! We have another thought. If PepsiCo set up a fund to start addressing legacy plastic waste now, you can actually get ahead and prepare for the start of the Global Plastics Treaty in mid-2025. There are many solutions out there, and the ocean cleanup interceptors are only one. What we really need right now is a lot of action to fight plastic runoff in the worst polluted places on Earth, and to guide other corporations who've signed the Global Plastics Treaty as well. The next 2 years should be a time of figuring out the best way to do it, not just waiting around to get started. PepsiCo, we really hope you'll start seriously tackling plastic pollution as soon as possible so the world can hit the ground running with real solutions to tackle legacy plastic on a global scale before 2025. Happy Earth Day!